are so many different writing programs and software out there tailored to writers with all different types of brains and processes. And in this video, I'm going to compile all of the ones that I've ever heard of and worked with and dug into and used to provide the ultimate resource for you when trying to select a program that you can use to write your books. It's no secret that every writer is different, and what works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. Your brain probably works differently than mine, and what you need from a writing program is going to be different from what I need. So I have done my best to organize all of these different options into different categories and then give my recommendations and suggestions for ones that may be good for different types of brains and writers. So which one is really good for pantsers, which one gives you tons of structure, which one doesn't give you a lot of structure, which one has a really steep learning curve, so that you can get a better idea as to maybe which ones you might like to explore. I can't give you any definitive suggestions in this video because I don't know you personally, and I don't know exactly what you need, but you will be able to take the information that I give you here, experiment with a bunch of these different programs, and see if any resonate with you. I'm gonna tell you all the ones that I use. I have always been a huge plotter. I love to plot my books out beforehand and have more guidance when it comes to structuring things. I get really bogged down if it's just one linear document and I have to scroll up and down my document to find different things. I like having everything in folders. I like being able to drag and drop where my chapters are. And I like having the ability to step back and look at my entire outline from a bird's eye view. Something I've also started doing in the past year that has really been helping me is writing from my phone. I really like writing on the go, and I really like to edit on my phone because for some reason there is a disconnect between writing on my laptop and writing on my phone. For some reason I feel more like a reader when I'm on my phone working on my projects. And so I've really been enjoying programs that sync between my computer and that are still able to be accessed on the phone. But before we continue, I want to take a minute to talk about the sponsor of this week's video, which is ProWritingAid. I have used ProWritingAid on every book that I have self-published since I started self-publishing in 2021. I've made tons of videos on this channel talking about them, and I am super excited that they are sponsoring this video. ProWritingAid is a digital toolkit for storytellers. It gives you so much information that you can use when editing your book to take your book to the next level. You can run 25 plus reports on your writing that range from editing basics like grammatical errors, overused words, sentence structure, and clarity, to in-depth story analyses focusing on plot, pacing, characters, settings, and more. It gives me tons of information that I use to edit my books before sending it off to a professional editor so that I can ensure my book is in better shape when it does get sent off. ProWritingAid allows me to run reports on my entire manuscript, acting as a virtual beta reader to give me large-scale feedback on how my manuscript is functioning and giving me suggestions for big picture edits so I can make the book even better before sending it to my beta reading team. It integrates into many major writing apps, so you can use it in Word, Scrivener, Google Docs, Atticus, Pages, and more. Plus, they use bank-level security to keep your story safe and never use your text to train their algorithms. No user text is stored, saved, or shared. I only work with sponsors on this channel that I use personally in my writing process, and I stand behind ProWritingAid 100%, and I'm so grateful for them collaborating with me. So the first category on this list is your basic word processor. This is your very simple word processor that you would probably think of when you think of an application to write on your computer. I have 3 of these on this list, and those are Microsoft Word, Google Docs, and Pages. And all of them function very similarly. Microsoft Word is very simple. You can open a document and then you type in the document, and there are a bunch of things that you can do in terms of formatting it, like if you want to bold text or italicize text, but everything in the document is linear, and so all of the pages exist one after the other in this kind of sequence. And there are plenty of fancy things that you can do with Microsoft Word, but it's probably the most simple application that you have. You don't have any of the bells and whistles that we'll be talking about with other applications that were built specifically for writing fiction. This is just a word processor that gives you pages. You type in the pages, you can format them however you want to. You can use different headings, you can italicize, change color, change text, do all of those things, and your book will look kind of like this. Microsoft Word saves locally to your computer computer or like to a cloud. If you have a cloud service, you can have it saved to like the cloud, and then you can open your Word documents from your phone. It's kind of the industry standard for sending manuscripts back and forth between people. Every editor I've ever worked with has used Microsoft Word, so I would send them a file in Microsoft Word, and they would send me back a document that looks like this. This is a document that came straight from my editor when we worked on my 5th book in my series, They Fall, and these were his additions. And Microsoft Word allows me to go through each of the comments and accept or deny them, and so I can just click like accept or reject each of these comments. I absolutely love my editor because he always puts a bunch of ideas in and like puts ideas for additions and stuff into the chapter, and so I can go through and like see all of the things that he changed, and it's just really easy for me to keep track of all of those things. People format their books on Word. You can write an entire book from beginning to end in Word, but the problem with Word, and the problem I've had with Word when writing from the beginning of a project, is just that it becomes really unwieldy and hard to navigate. Like if you have an entire manuscript in there when you're drafting and you run into an issue in the chapter, or like you want to quickly remember what happened in another chapter, or you just kind of lose the bird's eye perspective of your manuscript when you're in the middle of the book and like you can't really remember what came before, it becomes really hard scrolling up and down trying to remember everything that's happening. But it's a great bread and butter option, and I love the way that you can choose exactly where you save it. So I have set it up so that I use OneDrive as a backup, and I also use Dropbox as a backup because I have multiple backups of my things, and I can choose exactly where all of my Word docs are backed up to. And then I can access those because I have it on my phone and I can just quickly open them on my phone. Google Docs is another option exactly like this, and it functions very similarly to Word. This is what Google Docs looks like. As you can see, it's the same thing, like you have to scroll up and down in your document in order to reach all the other pages, but it's got all your same word processor stuff. So if you want to change the font, you can. If you want to put things in bold, you can. If you want to italicize, underline, just do all of the formatting things that you'd be able to do in Word. You can leave comments to yourself. So if I wanted to leave a comment saying that, I don't know, I'm considering switching this to sit straight instead of sit up all the way, I can do that. It also allows you to leave track changes, so you can hit like suggesting, and then if you were working with an editor, they could also do this and suggest different changes that you could make, and then you go through and you can accept or deny the same way that you would do in Word. Google Docs isn't quite as sophisticated as Word is. Like you can't do full interior formatting in Google Docs the same way that you can like in Word, but it gets the job done and is very simple and very easy to use and functions in basically essentially the same way. And Pages is basically the Mac version of Word and Google Docs. It comes pre-installed on any Mac computer and is, again, just like your basic word processor. Like you can do all the same formatting things, but again, it's not quite as sophisticated as Microsoft Word is. You can't do as many things, and most people don't really like Pages compared to Google Docs or Microsoft Word. And like most editors and most people do use Word when working back and forth. Every single editor I've ever worked with has used Word, but Pages is an option. Microsoft Word is not free. There is a cost associated with it. There are so many different pricing plans and options through Microsoft that I can't really tell you exactly how much it would be. You can get Microsoft subscriptions that are a few dollars a month, or you can purchase Microsoft Word for yourself for a higher price point. They also give tons of discounts to students. I know my college gave it to me for free while I was a college student, and then I only had to purchase it after I graduated. So it's accessible, and so many people have it. It's just there are a million different pricing plans, and it would be impossible for me to get into all of them in this video, and also they change all the time, so there would really be no point. Google Docs is free though. You can use Google Docs with no investment, and Pages is the same. So that comes pre-installed in any Mac device, but if you have a non-Mac device, then you wouldn't have Pages. So those are as simple as you can get when it comes to a writing program. Those are the ones that I recommend for beginner writers. If you're writing a book for the first time and you're looking for a program to use, I highly recommend just going and writing that book in Word or writing that book in Google Docs. Just start writing and start understanding where your trouble points are. Like if you're writing in Word and you're like, oh, I'm feeling really unmoored right now because I don't know what's going on. I can't figure out how all of these connect to my outline. I want to move this chapter earlier in the book, but I don't know where I want to move it. Everything feels so disorganized and it's stressing me out. Then you'll know that you want to move to something that allows for a little bit more structure. But some people can write their books just beginning to end in Microsoft Word and be super happy with it. And so you don't want to get a more sophisticated program that will overwhelm you with how many features it has if you don't need them. I personally use Microsoft Word for every part of my process after drafting. Once the main part of my writing is over and I'm working back and forth with editors and I'm putting the final touches on things and I'm not moving things around all the time, I do everything in Word. As soon as the book is starting to hold together from beginning to end and I know I'm not gonna make any giant major revisions to it anymore, everything is gonna be like on a line edit level and more specific, then I will do everything in Word. It just makes things seamless and very easy to manage. So the next program that is a slight step up from the basic word processor in terms of complexity, but is still very user-friendly and easy to figure out, is Novelist. Novelist is an app that you can run on your phone or on the web that allows you to write on the go. It's extremely simple and user-friendly, and any changes that you make on either your computer or on your phone sync between each other. So when you're first logging onto Novelist, you can ask whether you want it in normal mode or if you want it in easy mode. So if you click easy mode, it will just give you like the very simplest features so that you don't get overwhelmed. You can add your book. So for the sake of this video, I will just add The Love Trials. You can choose whether it's a novel standard or an empty book, then save it. And then when you open your book, you can add a section, add your chapter, like let's say it's just chapter 1. And when you click on chapter 1, you can just write in the text editor. So I don't know, we can say like, the dog was very fat, literally fattest dog I've ever seen. And you can pick your formatting things below. So if you want to do the same things you would do in Word, like you can put things in bold, you can put things in italics, everything is super easy. Novelist also allows you to set goals and things. So if you go to settings, I know we picked easy mode, but if we want to click normal mode, we can go in and like actually do some more goal setting and things like that. So if you want to have sections where you can put character sheets or different documents describing events like an outline, different locations that you're having in your book. There's an entire section where you can plot it. There's a section where you can set goals. Like if you have a writing goal, like you want to write 50,000 words in 30 days, you can set that here and then you can track and log all of the writing that you do. And then all the work you do on the web would be synced to your phone. So you can write however much that you want on your phone, and then if you want to pick it up on your computer, then you can do that. I think that Novelist is really simple. It's very easy to use. You can still put things and chapters in buckets, and so it only opens, it's not like a big giant document like in Word where you're scrolling up and down. You can navigate between all of your chapters by just clicking, like if you want to be in chapter 1, you can see the text here, or if you want to go down, like once you have more chapters, they'd all populate here. And Novelist is free, so there's no investment on your part. You can just try it and see if it works better for you, which is why I think it's a great step up after something like Microsoft Word if you are looking for something with a little more structure or want to try what more structure would feel like. So the first program on this list is Ulysses. Ulysses is a program designed for the Mac suite that can sync between your iPad, your computer, and your phone so that you can seamlessly write between all of your devices. You can set goals in Ulysses, you can put everything in folders, which I really, really appreciate. It has a built-in proofreader and editing assistant so that it can grammar and style check you as you go if you want it to. This is what Ulysses looks like in the web app. This is just like me doodling around one day, like trying to play around with something that I wanted to write in there. But this allows you, like I only have one chapter in here, but it's pretty user-friendly. It's very simple, and you can add different pieces of writing very easily throughout your chapters. So like if you want different like sub-documents in your chapters, you can put them here. If you want to make another chapter, you would just name it like chapter 2, and then you would put that there, and then you'd be able to navigate between your chapters on this side. And then you can drag and drop chapters super easily. So if you want to put chapter 2 inside chapter 1, you can. If you want to take them out and separate them, you can. You can put all your outlining stuff down in extras if you want to create new folders or like new groupings or anything like that. And then you can access everything from your phone. So in the app, like I can see everything that I wrote. This is the same piece of text that I have up on the screen here. And then already I just opened the app and like this other like little document where I wrote like huh in it that I just made there is already like populated in the app. So any text that I add is very quickly synced between them, which I really like. The one thing I don't like about Ulysses is it doesn't have the same flexibility in formatting. Like I have a lot of very little specific things that I like to do when formatting or when writing my books, like how I like to leave notes to myself, and I have habits. So like every time I want to leave a note to myself, I put it in like a closed bracket like that. And then when I'm going back, I can search for like brackets and then I can quickly access and pan through all the different notes that I have left for myself. I kind of make it like a fill in the blanks Mad Lib type thing when I'm doing rewrites, and Ulysses doesn't really let me do that. And also it doesn't let me italicize stuff in the same way. Like in order for something to be in italics, you have to do like an underscore and then write a word and do another underscore and then it'll be in italics. But when you cut and paste it into another program, your italics don't sync. You can also change the whole theme. Like you can put things in like a dark theme. You can totally customize the way that you want the app to look. And I think it's a really very user-friendly, like it only gives you kind of the bare bones stuff that you need. It gives you the folders, it gives you all of the different places you can put text without it being really, really overwhelming. Ulysses is $39.99 for a year's subscription or $5.99 per month. So it's pretty affordable and it makes life really easy if you are writing on the go, like between different devices. Obviously, this wouldn't work if you don't have Mac devices, but the other ones that we're going to talk about soon would work on non-Mac devices. So the next one on the list is Ellipsus. Ellipsus is similar to Ulysses in the sense that like it doesn't overwhelm you with really complicated things. Like it's easy to learn and easy to use, but it is capable of doing a lot of stuff. So you can first customize it to be like any color that you want. So this is pretty cool. It's not just like light mode and dark mode. You can literally choose out of tons and tons of different themes that they have to pick one that you like. My favorite colors are yellow and orange, so I don't really like writing with orange for some reason. But anyway, you can pick any colors that you want. So your projects also all back up and are all like synced to the cloud. You get access to all the like major features like bold, italic, you know, all the different kind of text colors, things like that. You can add images, you can add links, and then you can have even more formatting options. So you can actually change the font very easily in Ellipsus, which I really appreciate. They have a lot of fun fonts already built in. You can change the size of your text also very easily. You can access your outline. So you can outline stuff in Ellipsus and you can access it very quickly while you're writing. You have a very quick find and replace feature where you can search for things and like do a find and replace throughout your entire document. You have a spell check and grammar check that you can kind of turn on and off. So like if you're drafting and you don't want to have like the squiggly red lines appear while you're drafting, you can turn it off, but if you want it on, you can have it on. What I really appreciate is you can access your version history. So this is, I think, when I actually like created this for the video that I filmed about different writing software in December. What you can do is you have a full access to every single version history, which I really, really like because otherwise it freaks me out. It's so easy to lose work, and I do not like writing in programs where I don't have access to a version history. That is something that I really stress with Scrivener, because they do have like backups, but they're not as detailed as like a very, very detailed version history. You can leave comments either to yourself or have other people leave comments for you. You can have a chat. So if you have a co-writer, Ellipsus makes it really easy to start like chatting with people in real time while you're working on the story. Like if you're both in the document at the same time, very, very easy to talk back and forth. And then obviously you can export it. Another thing that I think is cool is if you want to do a writing sprint. So if you want to do like a 20-minute writing sprint, you can click that button and click start, and then the timer will automatically be set, and then you just can stay in the one document and stay focused. You can toggle it in and out of focus mode, so if you don't want any of the distractions and you just want to write, it becomes extremely minimalistic, which I really like. And then if you get invited to be a collaborator for anyone else's projects, or if there's a chat or anything, all of your notifications would appear here. So I think this is super cool, and you can kind of have a little bit of flexibility in how you structure these things. Ellipsis appears to be able to give you the flexibility to have multiple drafts, either of like the same book. So if you have like one big project and you have multiple drafts of the same project within one like project bucket, you can either do it that way, or you might be able to do multiple chapters as drafts. I actually don't know if there are any Ellipsis users watching this video, let me know. So when you start a new document, you can either start it from a template or you can start it just from scratch. So they have a couple templates already in there, but if you want to just have a blank document, you would start a project like this, click create, and then I'd have all the text for this one document in this one bucket. I'm not sure if it gives you the ability to like move chapters around and have every single chapter be in a different bucket like Ulysses does or like later programs that we talk about do, but it seems like all of the text will have to be in one giant document unless you have like multiple drafts, and then you can have like, you can create a second draft or anything like that under this tab and then manage things that way. If there are any Ellipsis users in the comments who are watching this video, let me know because I'm interested to see how this works. I don't personally use Ellipsis, but I am very impressed by the way that it looks and just how easy it is. Yeah, on the website it says that you can explore with drafts, so you don't create like a different draft for every chapter or anything. Ellipsis also doesn't use any generative AI and is very protective against AI, and so none of the text that you use in Ellipsis will be in any way used to train or given to AIs in any way. Like, it's very, very safe and protected. Right now, Ellipsis is completely free. I'm sure they will roll out some paid pricing tiers in the future, but right now it's totally free. So if you're interested in going and checking it out, that is also another alternative to Novelist. It allows you to do more. It's not quite as simple, but it also can be. A lot of these programs are only as complicated as you make them. So the next program on this list is Reedsy. Reedsy is a huge company in the books, like self-publishing business industry, and they have a free word processor that you can use to write your book with. It's pretty simple. It's very user-friendly. You create a project, and then all of your chapters exist in these little buckets, and so you can write inside the chapter, and then if you want to add a new chapter, you can click add and add a new chapter. And if you want to move your chapters around, you can move your chapters around very easily and reorder them, and they're automatically like renumbered. I really like this type of word processor because I like having everything in its own individual bucket. Here's the quick Reedsy tutorial actually. So if you want to format your text, you double click on it and then you can access all the formatting tools. You can put all of your chapters and headers in on the sidebar like I was saying. You can set goals for yourself, like in terms of like writing goals or word count goals. You can enter different challenges. They have a huge community section and have a bunch of like different challenge options. You can use track changes if you want to, just like I was showing you that I do in Word. You have like still access to a version history under the writing timeline, which is super cool. You have find and replace. You can toggle on and off a spell check. You can put images or scene breaks in very easily, and you can also export your book very easily. What I like about Reedsy is just that it's kind of a more basic version of some of the more complicated programs we're going to get to. I like that it's free. What I don't like is that they're all saved to like Reedsy's cloud. I like having multiple backups of my projects just because it really stresses me out if I spend a ton of time on something and then something gets like wires get crossed and then all of a sudden I don't have access to it anymore. So I don't like just doing a full web-based backup. I like having multiple sources of backups, but it's a great thing to start with just because you do have a free option and then you can see whether something like this is more helpful to you than something like Word. This is another option you can go from. Like if you wanted to start with Word and you're like, I need more structure, you go to Novelist or something like that and you're like, oh, I need something even a little bit more advanced, you could go to Reedsy, or you could even go from Word to Reedsy. See if you like this kind of format with the different buckets and chapters and things that Reedsy has. Maybe you want something that can do even more, or maybe you just want something where you can control the backups and like the storage a little bit better and more hands-on, and so you can move to something else. But trying something like Reedsy will give you some insight as to whether you will enjoy something like Scrivener if you want something more advanced. We're gonna get to Scrivener. Another thing I don't like about Reedsy is you can't write offline. You also can't write, like, it's only on the web. And so it's kind of just like you have to be at your computer and you have to be connected to the internet. I like to be able to work on my projects no matter where I am, and I like to be able to work on them offline. So another writing software option is Bibisco. Bibisco also allows you to put all of your writing in different buckets. So you can see you can have all of your chapters on the left hand side of the screen. You can open your different chapters and then you can write within each of the buckets. It also allows you to like track your characters. It also lets you like put your plot into it. They allow you to create mind maps, which is something that a lot of people like to do. I have never found mind maps particularly helpful, but a lot of people like to do that to connect information. You can set writing goals. They have a built-in timeline, so if you want to track when things happen in your book, you can do that directly in Bibisco. They allow you to export it to any format that you want, and it seems to be pretty simple to understand and pretty cool. They have two different options. They have a community edition, which is free, and it gives you these features, and then they also have a premium version, which is $59, but it's a one-time payment, and you get all of these features. All right, so when you get Bibisco, this is what it looks like. I just got the free version, so when you want to create a project, you can just type in the name of the project. You can put in your language. You can choose any language. This is one program that allows you to write in any language because I believe it was developed in Italy, so that's really cool. And so this is your project. You can open all of their guides, so they have a bunch of tutorials and guides already loaded in there. And this is your general navigation section. So here you can put things in like your outline. You can start to put together like the structure. You could just follow the navigation like when you want to create your first chapter. It is very, like, it will teach you how to use the program as you download it. You create your first scene. Again, teaching you how to use the program when you download it. And then you would type in here, and then these are all the different formatting things that you can do, and everything, like, you'll have the whole navigation system to the left. So when I downloaded Bibisco, it prompted me to choose where I would back up all my projects. So all of the Bibisco files are stored in like either on your desktop or in your Dropbox, or you can pick exactly where everything is backed up, which is really great. So that one is a little bit more complicated. They have more features and more things that you can do with it. It's probably not one that I would start with just when you are seeing whether or not like you want that kind of structure, but if you already know that you're a plotter and you like being able to track things like that, or you want a little bit more feature support, it's a really great one to try out before you make the investment in something more expensive. So Novlr is another option. I've heard really great things about Novlr. I don't really know anything about it, but you can create projects and write in Novlr. It is structured kind of similarly to the other word processors that we've been talking about. So it's much more minimalist. It doesn't have as many like bells and whistles, so it's more intuitive and easy to follow. A lot of people get really overwhelmed if a program has too many different buckets or tabs or things like that, too much of a learning curve. And this seems to be very easy to use and very intuitive. So you can rename your chapters or sections by doing this and like clicking up top, and then all of your new sections and chapters will be named different things. You can leave comments. They have a free version, and like in the free version, that's where you get all of like this kind of really simple interface. But they also have a pro version, and there are a bunch of really cool things that you can do in the pro version. You can have like a full proofreader go through and be able to like do a full grammar and spelling check. Their more upgraded version of Novlr is you have a plus and a pro plan. Billed yearly, that's $6 a month and $14 a month. And billed monthly, that's $8 a month or $18 a month, so it's not incredibly expensive. You can put all of your notes down here if you have extra notes. You can also plot out, like put index cards and synopses on each of your sections in your book, so that's really handy if you're trying to look and like actually have a bird's eye picture of an outline. You can't get super in the nitty-gritty details and weeds of an outline doing it this way, but it gives you something. So if you add like a synopsis, like your synopsis is like dog goes to the grocery store. So kind of a simple plot, like you can't do a full plot grid, you can't get really into the weeds of all of the different things that you can keep track of in plot. But if you want just like, if you're a pantser who wants just like a tiny bit of structure or want to like experiment with a little bit of structure, this could be a really great option, especially at the free tier, and then you can see whether it's something that you want to upgrade. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the even more sophisticated writing programs. These are the two that are the most advanced, that allow you to have the most flexibility flexibility with exactly how you structure your writing environment. And the first one that we're going to talk about is Dabble. Dabble was designed to be easy to use for both beginner writers and advanced writers. It's extremely user-friendly and easy to figure out. So when you open a new project in Dabble, it looks like this. So we start typing and immediately distractions fade away every time you start typing. You can set goals and stats very easily. You can set writing sprint timers, and all of that stuff is built in. One thing I really like is it has a built-in read to me feature, so you can pick a voice and this voice can read your text back to you. And so you can just sit there and listen to how it sounds, and I find that really helpful when I'm proofreading. On the left of your screen are all of your chapters. So you would create a chapter this is chapter 1, and you would start typing here. So if we're gonna continue the vet, you see how as I was typing, everything started fading away because it's distraction free. It's really cool. You can also put it manually into focus mode. You can add chapters very easily. So if you click the plus button, you can click new scenes, add new chapters, add new parts, add new books. You can organize all of the information that you need to about your book into all these different buckets. So if you want to have character cards, if you want to track certain things, you can put images for your character, you can put a bunch of information, and then if you all of that will automatically appear under your characters. I don't personally do this, and so this is not really useful for me, but what I love about Dabble and also what I love about Scrivener is you can customize it to exactly what you want. It's very sophisticated, but you don't have to use all of the different things that it can do. You can put in all of your story notes, so if you have a complex world building system and you have to keep tabs on things, you can put all of that under your world building, and it's super easy to access all of it. But by far, my favorite feature in Dabble is their plot grid feature. If you've watched my videos before, you will know how much I absolutely love plot grids, and Dabble is the biggest writing program on the market that allows you to build plot grids inside the writing program, and all of the different nodes on your plot grid will be automatically connected to every single chapter that you write. So if you don't know what a plot grid is, you should totally go watch one of my videos on plot grid making. I love making plot grids, and that's how I like to outline my books. But what happens and how it functions is every single, it's an outline that kind of takes place on a grid, and every single column corresponds to a different plot or subplot, and every row corresponds to a different scene in your book. And so you can create all of the different columns. So let's just say this is my main plot, and then this is my romantic subplot, and then this is chapter 1, and so I can put what I need to have happen for in my main plot in this column and say I don't know, owner brings dog to the vet, finds out dog is overweight, plans diet for dog. And that's what happens in my main plot. You have to click on it to see all of the full text here, but you can have a heading or a shorthand that can appear on the little in the box, and you can go through and fill this out for everything and what has to happen in the romance. So I don't know, maybe all right, owner finds vet cute, meet cute. And then all of those little boxes will appear on this grid. And then when you're writing in your chapter, you can click these notes, and then you can see these little nodes in your plot grid that correspond to this particular chapter. So you can keep track of everything that needs to happen in this chapter in order for your outline to work. So I think this is incredibly helpful. I absolutely love Dabble for this. Dabble saves your work locally and also to the cloud, and so it makes it really easy. If you want to sync between your devices, or if you want to write on your phone, you can just log in. You have to write in their online word processor, but you can access all of your projects offline, and then they will be saved locally and then backed up to the cloud as soon as you connect to Wi-Fi. You can also put Dabble in dark mode and change how it actually looks if you prefer writing in dark mode. Dabble is the most expensive program I have on this list. It is a subscription model and not a one-time payment. They have 3 different tiers. The first one is $9 a month, the second one is $19 a month, and the third one is $29 a month. And these are the different features that are included in each of the tiers. They also have a lifetime access for $699. That is a serious investment, but if you pay it once, then you have access to Dabble forever. And that's roughly 2 years of this premium pricing up front. So it makes sense if you want to commit to Dabble to get the lifetime access, but do not do that unless you know that this is the program for you, because that is a serious amount of money. But they're also always making improvements to it. They have a huge community of other writers at Dabble, and it's just a very, very cool very flexible program. So I'm a huge fan of it. And the final word processor on this list is the one and only Scrivener. Scrivener is arguably the most versatile and most powerful writing software that exists. This is the writing software that I downloaded when I was in high school, and I decided that I wanted to like start leveling up my writing, and I really wanted to do this and like start writing books. I have used Scrivener for 12 years more, like a very, very long time. And it is an incredibly powerful program. You can structure Scrivener any way that you want to. Scrivener has a ton of features. You can do so many things with it. I can tell you right now that I don't do all of the things that I could with Scrivener. So I'm gonna open one of my projects so I can show you exactly how this works. If it wasn't already obvious, I use Scrivener, and the way that Scrivener works, you create folders on the left-hand side, and then you can write text inside each of these folders, and then you can like navigate between all of your folders. So I wrote my entire draft of the love trials in Scrivener, and that's why I have all of this stuff in it. This is an older draft. Like you can see I have like notes to myself in all of these chapters. I have all of these revision notes. I have like beta reader comments and all of that stuff all loaded in here right now because this is like an actual working document of mine, or at least that was mine. You can track how many words are in your document up top, and I will say that this is basically all I use Scrivener for. Scrivener can do a million things, but it can also be very simple and just be like a program that saves, like I save it locally, and also I save it like it'll back up to my OneDrive, and so all of my projects are backed up, but like I can access this just downloaded on my computer. It's not like a web application or anything like that, so it's essentially just like Microsoft Word, but I just like being able to toggle and like see that like, okay, this is in one bucket, this scene, or like this chapter is in another bucket, and then all of my notes and world building notes and all of like, you know, disorganized things are everywhere. Like, wow, so many title ideas that I had. All of my beta reading notes, all these like notes to myself, all these things that like I didn't necessarily, like all the deleted words, like if I had deleted content that I wanted to put in there, like so I didn't get rid of it, I would just like put it in deleted scenes, put all of these different like beta reading notes. I compile all the information there. You can do much more. They have a full corkboard feature, so you can use like kind of the corkboard outline that I was talking about in, I don't remember the other program, but you can do that in Scrivener. They have a full outlining section, and you can actually plot grid in Scrivener. I learned how to do this last year, and I made a video on it, which I can link in the description of this one. It allows you to plot grid and color code everything, and I think that's really cool if you wanted to structure it that way. Scrivener has probably the steepest learning curve of any writing program on this list. Scrivener and Dabble together are the more sophisticated of all of them. There's more that you can do with it, but you don't have to do everything. A lot of people can be daunted by Scrivener because there's just so much that you can do with it, but I like to keep things really simple and then only add on features if I feel like I need to. Like, let the writing software and writing program work for you. Customize it the way that you find most helpful. Don't get bogged down trying to learn it, trying to figure out where all the features are. Just start playing in it and just start writing. And if you need a feature, see if it has that feature. And if it doesn't have that feature, then maybe look at trying something else. But don't overwhelm yourself trying to learn as much as you can about all these programs, because that's just going to take the fun out of writing. That's not what they're here for. They're here to work for you and not the other way around. Scrivener is a one-time purchase. You can get a student license for $50 and a non-student license for $60. You pay it once, you never have to pay it again. I bought Scrivener once when I was in high school for the educational license, and I haven't had to pay for it since. And it also runs on both Mac and Windows. So those are a lot of the big writing programs that are on the market right now. There are definitely more. There are so many more. I don't know about all of them, and there's no way that I'd be able to cover all of them in this video, but my intention with this was just to give you a place to start if you are looking to start like writing a book and you want to know what you should use. Clearly you have a ton of options because every writer's needs look different. And so what I urge you to do is start with the simplest one you can and then move up from there. So just start with the simplest one, just start writing the book. And if you run into an issue and you need to upgrade it, then upgrade it. But don't go and like buy Scrivener because you think it's what you need to have and then get bogged down and overwhelmed by trying to learn everything that you can do with it and try to use every single feature if you don't need to. And we don't want that. We want everything to be fun. So if you want any more personalized recommendations from me, if you want my thoughts on whether I think a specific type of program will work for you, just drop a comment down below, explain a little bit about what you're looking for or what your experiences have been, and I'm super happy to chat with you about these different programs. If you're interested in trying them, I have linked them all below in the description of this video. I've also included discount codes to a couple of these. I don't have discount codes for all of them, but I have discount codes for some of them to try to make them a little bit more affordable if you decide to try them out. But thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful to you. If you have a second, I'd be super grateful if you could like it and also subscribe to my channel. My name is Claire Fraze, and I'm an award-winning author who makes videos sharing actionable writing tips that helped me make my own writing better. I'm the author of the paranormal thriller They Stay series, which won the grand prize at the Writer's Digest 2023 Self-Published Book Awards, and my new book, The Love Trials, is coming out on April 28th of this year, and I am so excited. I hope you have a good week, everybody, and as always, happy writing.